All right. And then secondly, what is their a view with regard to disproving other worldviews, right? So notice our authors tell us that a worldview is the sum of a person's basic assumptions. It's either held consciously or subconsciously about life and the nature of reality. So the sum of a person's basic assumptions about life and the nature of reality. That's what a worldview is, kind of a down and dirty definition here of a worldview. And they tell us that these assumptions or presuppositions are sometimes only brought to mind when challenged by a foreigner from another ideological universe, right? So sometimes we are not aware of our assumptions or presuppositions until we meet some person, that has a different basis for their particular ideological universe. And so classical apologists generally maintain that while there may be many internal variations, the actual number of basic worldviews they're going to argue here, and we'll see it, is really quite limited. There's only just a few, actually a handful that they need to consider. And so that's their approach with regard to worldviews. There's just a few, and so we'll deal with the few that are basically present themselves.
Right. And so we've gone over kind of the key people within the classical approach as well. And so depending on when they existed, what they were responding to, or just kind of who they are and what their approach was, might inform them and have different classifications. But overall, they're going to try and codify and classify these different worldviews to make it easier to respond in a general way using their method. So there are different ways of categorizing worldviews because of areas of overlap. Sire devotes separate chapters to 8 basic worldviews: Christian theism, deism, naturalism, nihilism, existentialism, Eastern pantheistic monism, and the New Age and postmodernism. Norman Geisler and William Watkins in Worlds Apart, in another evangelical overview of worldviews, distinguishes 7 worldviews, with their lists differ in some respects from Sire's: deism, pantheism, panentheism, finite godism, polytheism, atheism, and theism. So again, depending on how they're responding or in what way they want to respond to, you're going to find different ones. And in fact, we can even go down farther and farther here.
Right. And so our authors tell us that obviously there's more overlap here than may meet the eye. For instance, Searle's naturalism is the same worldview as Geisler's atheism, right? And nihilism and existentialism are philosophies that seek to apply the atheistic worldview to human life. Moreover, pantheism includes both Eastern pantheistic monism and the New Age. So narrowing the options then enables the apologist, from the classical perspective, to show that non-Christians, for them, the fundamental choices that are just a handful, that these are the various few fundamental choices. In fact, C.S. Lewis reduces the number of worldviews even further.
Right.
He reduces it to 3, right? So in broad terms, he held that most, if not all, people hold to some variation of these 3 kind of views of reality: materialism or atheism, Hinduism, of which Buddhism was a simplification, and Christianity, of which Islam was a simplification. So that's, C.S. Lewis narrowed it down even further to these 3 basic views.
Right. So again, wanting to respond in a certain fashion, people would be aghast that Islam is on probably both sides is responding to a simplified version of Christianity.